All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're joined right now by the one and only Alan Dershowitz. Alan, I appreciate you doing this on last minute, but there was some news made today. It's in line with what you have been saying all along. A judge presiding over a case involving convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein has thrown out accusations against you. You must be very, very happy.
Well, I'm pleased. I mean, we've been legally vindicated, but, you know, my reputation has still been, unfortunately, tarnished in the minds of at least some people by a woman who just lied and made up a story out of whole cloth. I don't know this woman. I never met her. And she made these false accusations, and there are some people who still believe it. The judge's decision will go a long way toward erasing that, because what the judge said, basically, is he has to strike all these allegations as if they were never made, but you know, it's like unringing a bell, or as lawyers say, when you throw the skunk out of the jury box, the smell still remains. So there'll still be a smell, and I have to go after her, and I'm going after her. We've just served her, and we will depose her, and we will persuade the world that she made up the whole story out of whole cloth.
And when you say going after her, you're suing her for defamation?
Well, I'm suing the lawyers for defamation, and we're considering suing her for defamation as well. But right now, she was trying to hide in Colorado and avoid service, but we found her and we served her. And now she'll be subject to a deposition. And if she repeats what she said previously under oath, she will go to jail, because what she said is a complete, total, made-up lie. Not only about me, but about many other people.
So, right. So just to be clear, the judge threw it out, or the judge declared it to be untrue?
No, the judge didn't hear any evidence, so he was not in a position to declare anything to be true or untrue. He just said it was absolutely improper for the lawyers to have made these allegations with no evidentiary basis and without any relevance to the case. It was like a drive-by shooting, or like somebody scribbling graffiti on a bathroom door.
But you said she'd go. You said if she repeats it in a deposition, she'll go to jail. How does? I mean, you mean
that's right.
Eventually?
She'll commit. She'll have committed perjury, and she'll be prosecuted for perjury. You can't commit perjury and victimize somebody. I mean, it's not only against the law, it's against the Ten Commandments, bearing false witness. And there have to be consequences. And there have to be consequences for lawyers who allow their clients to defame other people using the law as a shield against the defamation. Now, that shield has been removed by the judge striking these salacious and false allegations.
Well, I'm glad for you because, you know, I don't think too many people ever believed it. But like you said, sometimes, you know, the public hears something and then you have to prove your innocence. And that's a flaw in our system, I think, and especially with our news media today.
Right, I appreciate that. And the real victims of this are real rape victims, people who really suffered from rape. And, you know, the problem is when you have false allegations, like in the Rolling Stone case or the Duke University lacrosse case, or in my case, it undercuts the credibility of real rape victims. That shouldn't happen. But women like this who make these false charges really hurt other women who are victims of rape, and that's why it's so important that there be consequences.
All right, let me turn to the subject. We have a couple of minutes left here, Alan. Rand Paul announcing today that he's running for president along with Ted Cruz, your former student. So what's your take on Rand Paul?
Well, I think Rand Paul is a very bright guy. You know, he has some extreme views, particularly on American foreign policy. He's been trying to bring those views into the center a little bit more. He strikes me as a decent, intelligent man who ought to remain in the United States Senate, where he's doing a good job.
Who ought to remain in the Senate? So you think is he in over his head?
I think so. I think all these young guys who have decided they, senator for one term and it's time to run for president, and I include within that President Obama. I think he would have been a much better president if he had served a couple of years, a couple of terms in the Senate. I think we elect our presidents sometimes too young, too inexperienced. There is some virtue in accumulating experience and a little wisdom and maybe a couple of gray hairs. Well, you get the gray hairs when you're president. Yeah. Obama's hair has turned very gray over the last 6 years. But I think experience, and, when they gave Obama the Nobel Prize like weeks after he got elected president, that really it diminished the value of the Nobel Prize.
Yeah, absolutely. For doing what? Anyway, Alan, I know we're going to talk again later in the week, and I look forward to that. Thank you very much, sir.
Always a pleasure.
All right, Alan Dershowitz, ladies and gentlemen, and that is good news. And anybody could accuse anybody of anything. And when you have a name like Alan Dershowitz, or any high-profile name, the media is going to report that accusation. And even once you're vindicated, whether it's through a trial or whether it's through something like this that happened today, which is good news for Alan and the others, still in all, there are going to be people, I hope it's few, but there's going to be people that say, oh, he must have done it. He's got connection. Of course he did it. Why would the girl make it up? And that's the flaw. That's really the flaw in our system. It was before social media. Now it's even worse with social media. How do you get your name back? That's the question. All right, John Zogby's next, folks. Don't go away.